Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker podcast brought to you by Boss Shot Shells. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
And it is true. I am famous.
Yep, right over there. Lady at Allsup's asked me today if I was going out there to do a podcast with you. I said, yep.
Yep.
With us today from Vortex Optics,
I can't wait to hear this.
Mr. Haley Fochs and Mark Boardman. Did I say Mr. Haley Fochs?
Oh my God.
Damn. It's an inside.
You did that last. Did you do it on purpose? Because you did that last time.
I screwed the intro up. It doesn't matter who we have on, what we're doing. I screwed up.
I knew it. I knew it. That's why I said I could not wait to hear this because he wrote.
I almost thought he did it on
No,
purpose.
I jack it up every time. That's why they didn't let me introduce Kenny Chesney Saturday night in Dallas, because they knew I was going to jack it up.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why.
I will say, man, the way you set that up, I thought it was intentional.
No.
It was well court. You should have just let it ride. That was very.
No, every time he messes up the. I saw him taking notes on names and everything, and I was like, I guarantee you, 10 out of 10, he's gonna botch it. And sure enough, I said, I can't wait to see how this goes. And first word out of his mouth.
Every time it happens. Hey, this weekend I went and seen Kenny Chesney. Have y'all seen Kenny in concert ever?
I have.
I have not. No.
Are you a big country music fan, though?
I mean, I like it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a big concert guy, though.
I'm not a big concert guy either.
Too many
but I
people.
did see Kenny puts on the best show I've seen of anybody I think ever. He works harder than anybody in music by any means.
Ooh, I had to say Garth Brooks is probably my top.
First of all, I'm from Texas, and we don't talk about Garth Brooks. He's a sellout. He was on Oprah Winfrey in pajamas talking about books. He's not a country singer. Let's cut that shit straight. Garth was good up until about 1992.
Hold on, I'm coming to your defense. I'm recovering from a cold, so I've got your back here. Garth, we're still with Garth.
Oh,
That's
no,
okay.
we're not. Garth's
Thank you.
horrible.
What?
Garth was great up until 1992. He changed his name. What kind of normal guy does that? He's not a guy's guy. He's a woman's guy.
Isn't that also kind of when he quit making music?
Yes,
No,
he did. He quit making music in 1992. My point exactly.
Releases a few, but not as many as he used to.
No.
Yes. Yeah, that's so good you can't remember
Now I
it.
got to go into the Garth.
Garth should have been singing with the other two guys that were singing, Dan and Shay. I've never heard of them before.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely felt like I went from a Kenny Chesney concert to I went to a Christian rock concert or a bebop concert with those guys. I was absolutely lost my man card listening to them guys. And them guys have won like 3 Grammys.
Yeah,
You don't listen to them either,
I
do
don't know
you?
what to say about them. No. Catherine, who sits by us in marketing, she just went to that same concert. They were in Green Bay just a few weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Kenny
yeah.
and them,
Did
yeah.
she like Dan and Shay?
And she had the same opinion. She had no.
I'm gonna give Madison County a shout out for Catherine on Catherine's behalf, because that's kind of like a local, country band, but she's a big fan.
Big fan.
What's a local
Kenny fan.
country?
And she's a big Kenny fan. But I asked her, I go, if you given the opportunity, given the choice between this concert, main big headliner in Madison County,
No way.
she picked Madison County.
Wow.
Who is Madison County?
She's their
I don't
biggest
know
fan.
them.
She is.
Guaranteed
Who's
biggest
Madison
fan.
County?
Local.
Local.
Madison.
Madison area.
So nobody outside of
Madison
Madison
County.
knows them then.
They can't listen to him. It's illegal.
What?
They're not from Madison County.
Yeah, it's like getting that spotted cow you were talking about earlier.
Well,
Yeah.
I bet Madison County is better than Dan and Shay. I had never heard of these cats. And they come out, and I'm like, I thought Kenny was coming on. I'm like, gosh, dang it. I had to listen to Old Dominion, and they were very good. But anyways, Dan
They're
and
good.
Shay come out, and I'm like, who are these people? I mean, she was like, you've heard their songs. I said, there's no way I've ever listened to these dudes ever.
Okay, so
and
hold
then
on.
I had heard a couple of their songs.
So you said Garth was done in 92.
That's when he was done with his music that I like.
Beaches of Cheyenne came out in 95.
Yep, didn't like it.
You didn't like Beaches of Cheyenne?
No.
You're high.
No.
The change, Colin Baton Rouge was
The
94.
change. That's what happened to him. He had the change in his life. He
Don't
should've
make
been
fun
with
of
him.
that song, Jeff. That's about the Oklahoma City bombing, and you should repent right now.
But Colin
Standing
Baton
Outside
Rouge,
the Fire, 93. Colin Baton Rouge, 94. Beaches of Cheyenne, The Change. Long Neck Bottle was 97. Two Pina Coladas was 98.
Oh, wow.
Okay, he's had 3 good songs since 92.
That's later than I thought.
Colin
Yeah.
Baton Rouge might be his best song other than The Dance or Shameless.
She's Gonna Make It was 98 also. I've heard that, I know.
I've heard it. You had to think about it.
But anyway, so
He's not Kenny Chesney, but he's Garth Brooks. So there you go.
that's true too.
So
That is a
Yeah,
fact.
you got me there. I can't argue. I
Thank
can't
you.
argue with that. He is in fact Garth Brooks and not Kenny Chesney.
finally, we come to an agreement here.
Yep.
What's going on in the Vortex Nation right now? What we got new coming out?
Man, I'd say always moving and shaking around here. We've had a few recent releases. We just kind of revamped. Not kind of. We did. We revamped our entire rangefinder operation. So we got rid of a couple models, introduced 3 new models. So we have the Crossfire 1400, Crossfire HD 1400, the Diamondback HD 2000, and then the new Viper HD 3000, and then the Razor HD 4000 still in the lineup.
I'm
I think
still
we got 'em.
learning.
Those are all our handheld. So those are all handheld rangefinders. But kind of like your traditional handheld. But yeah, super pumped about them. Optics are better, ranging capabilities better. I like the reticles better. They're all illuminated, and they kind of different fit. Kind of different buckets of price performance to fit a person's needs.
Go ahead, Andy.
Haley, what has it been like moving from Lucky Duck to this? Because I don't feel like they mesh. Do they? I mean, because now you're in a totally different world. How has that been learning the Vortex terminology? Because I got to be honest, I thought he was a quarterback calling out plays in a huddle whenever he was reading that lineup.
Yeah, it's a lot to learn. Just all the different lineups and I understand the naming conventions more now, but just understanding the difference, in glass quality and why this product would be, better for this situation versus this. So it's definitely a learning curve. And I rely on Mark a lot. But there's a lot of knowledgeable people around here that have obviously helped and are easy to learn from and kind of dumb it down a little bit for the beginners.
I have got a question for Mark that I've always wanted to ask someone that makes rangefinders. What is the percentage of them that you sell to golfers?
You know what? I don't have that exact number off the top of my head. The product development team probably would be the people to ask on that. But I mean, it definitely is a significant, piece of gear for the golf community and the folks that are doing that. So, gosh, I wish I had asking the tough questions.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a legit question.
Could've looked it up.
Every golfer I know in
Yeah.
the world's got a rangefinder in their golf bag. Every one of them does.
Yeah,
Did y'all watch the match
it's
at
pretty
all
wild.
between Tom Brady, Rodgers, and Josh Allen and Mahomes?
I
Oh,
heard
my
about
goodness.
it, but I didn't watch
I didn't
it.
watch it, but I've seen highlights. The smack talk was unbelievable. And our boy Rodgers sunk a putt to win it from 1,000 yards away. He just putted it in from the green basically and put the two young bucks away. But
That is
I don't
awesome.
think they use
Disc golf actually is getting big. There's disc golf rangefinders now
Really?
too that are specific to that application. It's wild. And there's definitely nuanced things that are different, for a golf rangefinder or a disc golf rangefinder or one that's more for hunting or, precision shooting. There's definitely nuanced things that the person wants to take into
I'm
consideration.
embarrassed to say this, but I actually have played disc golf before. It was actually pretty fun.
really.
Yeah, it's kind of a granola cruncher type sport, but
Just
it was
frisbee, isn't it?
yeah, it was fun
Just
though.
chunk it.
It really was. So, but I'm kind of embarrassed because I'm gonna get made fun of a lot by people.
But so
play disc.
so it's different as far as the technology on what to pick up from the rangefinder on what it needs to register.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Different. I think, and like I said, the product development guys are the people to ask on that. But I think, different beam divergence, it's just trying to catch different things in a different way.
I've never played.
The way I understand it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't quote the Vortex
That's
guy
what
on
I
that,
would
by the way. But getting back to what you guys were saying earlier, though, learning terminology. I think about that oftentimes just in the hunting, shooting world in general. We really speak in almost like entirely different language.
You guys, well, like when you guys are all talking about different guns and cartridges and stuff, and I'm just like,
Right.
I have no idea.
Mhm.
I'm
Well,
like,
hey,
it's like you're talking a different language.
You're not giving yourself enough credit, but
There's a lot of cartridges
Haley,
out
I'm
there.
with you on that.
And different
I'm
guns.
the same way. I have a hard time also.
People that they'll talk. I have guys call me up about hog hunts all the time. They're like, I'm going to bring an XP37 649 and blah blah blah. I'm like, you can shoot a slingshot at them. I don't care what you shoot at them because I know waterfowl hunting. And I know all about waterfowl hunting.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about
12 or 20.
when you start with Boss now, we've been able to extend it to 410 and 28 gauges again and 16s. But I don't know much about rifles other than and I own a bunch of rifles, but I don't know anything about the ballistics and stuff. And I have guys that'll ask me, and I'm thinking, whew, I am a real idiot when it comes to this stuff.
To my own profession.
Yes, I mean I don't know nothing about it. Like a 50 cal, I think is about to be. 50 cal is about as big as you get, isn't it?
yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, they don't get much bigger than that, do they?
Well,
I'd say not in general for, I guess, practical. Maybe that's probably not the right word, but your general, more common applications.
the Gustav gun created by the Germans takes the cake on. It's a 80 centimeter barrel.
Well, you're shooting people with that. I'm talking about that people still do use a 50 every once in a while to hunt something. I've got guys
Jeff,
that'll book a hog
You don't
hunt.
know what they shot with the Gustav gun.
Well, that's what they were aiming for. I got guys that hunt with me that want to just shoot a long range pig, like a quarter to a half mile away.
Yeah.
And that's their whole goal is to be able, do you have a place we can shoot a pig a half mile away? I'm thinking, what for? But that's where they y'all
Don't a lot of people like that up close with the hogs?
I thought, but apparently
I
not.
get a call every year from a group of guys that want to shoot something long range. And they're using optics like y'all's to do it.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it really is amazing what you can do as far as extending, your effective range, and a big component of that is practice, right? Like you got to be confident in your shooting and practice and be capable and have your fundamentals down and all those things. But, even compared to, say, 20 years ago, like there's just things like we're talking about rangefinders earlier, like rangefinder technology has come so far. And, you look at rangefinders in general, that really was the catalyst for all this long range stuff. You have to have that known distance, an accurate known distance, or nothing else matters.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it's like, if you wanted to shoot further accurately, you're kind of like, okay, well, I need to shoot something that's fast and flat, right? Because you didn't have that rangefinder. Well, now that you know the range, you're like, okay, well, now I know the range. Well, now I've got this ballistic calculator, and I can plug that variable in, and now I've got this awesome scope. Well, let's add some turrets that are built for dialing that tracks super true. So now I can use this data that's in my ballistic calculator and accurately, dial to accommodate that bullet drop at those varying distances. And I mean, it's just wild what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Rifles have gotten better. I mean, heck, you can buy a $500 rifle that's a half MOA gun nowadays. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I'm obviously the dumbest one on this podcast today.
What are you talking about?
I have absolutely no idea.
He's talking about how much technology is.
No, what's the MOA?
Jeff, you're embarrassing yourself now.
What?
So that would stand for minute of angle, right? So
The drop.
And I mean, that's not a dumb question.
No, a lot of people, and I had to learn when I started the MOA versus MRAD.
Right. I mean, I think it's common, like if you're not, close to it, even as like an avid hunter, like you still think of things like in inches, right? Because it's just like, it's kind of what we use all the time. But so minute of angle MOA stands for minute of angle. So it's an angular unit of measure. And that's often what your scope, the click value will most commonly be quarter minute of angle. So like, it would take 4 clicks of your rifle scope to equate to 1 minute of angle. So, and 1 minute of angle approximately, not perfectly, equates to 1 inch at 100 yards, right? But that's at 100 yards because you have to think it's an angular measurement, so that's going to extrapolate over distance. The other common one, or I guess, unit of measure, click value, and that you see in rifle scopes a lot today. And I'd say definitely as we get into folks that are interested in like long range precision shooting, like we're talking about, you're going to see mils, right? And so those scopes most often, I'd say nearly always, are going to click in 10th mils, right? So it'll be like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all the way up to 10, and then that would equal 1 mil or mil radian. It actually stands for mil radian, which is just a different unit of measure. People always ask, what's better? What should I get? My question would be like, how avid of a shooter are you? What are all your scopes in? If you've got 20 minute angle scopes, it could make sense to just buy another minute angle scope. If you want to try something new, get a mil scope. If you're looking to switch over, do that. They're both extremely effective. At the end of the day, you're turning to a number that's going to get you to the same spot. But I'd say a lot of long-range precision guys, they are going to gravitate towards
just because
mils.
it's a finer tune adjustment. Is that why?
I think it's easier math.
Right.
Just because it's instead of like 0.25, it's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3.
So it's much easier when you're doing it on the fly rather than, oh shit, that was okay. I did that twice, so that's 0.5, and then so it's just quicker on the fly.
Yeah. I think it's just easier to digest mentally.
What do y'all sell the most of? Are y'all selling more of like the red dots, or are you selling more long range type optics?
I mean, I don't have the exact numbers on those. I'd say rifle scopes in general. I mean, that's an easy answer just because of the nature of rifles. Like, you might have 10 rifles, but you need one binocular, right?
Yeah, binoculars.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of both. I mean, red dots are still extremely relevant. Definitely, I'd say they predominantly end up. Of course, I know we've all used red dots on our shotguns this year.
Yeah.
Loved it, by the way. If you're a turkey hunter, I don't know if you throw a red dot on it. If I was going to recommend one of ours, shameless plug, the Spark Solar. I used it all fall, or excuse me, I always want to say fall, all spring. Killed 4 turkeys with it. Eric killed 7.
Yeah, just rub it
Graham
in.
shot 4. Like, it was crazy. But anyway,
0.
You didn't shoot any?
you don't think it's
No, I was out there, but a lot of those jakes ruined my turkey hunt. Running around chasing my toms away.
you can fix that by actually shooting one of those jakes,
I
which
know,
is
but I didn't
exactly
wanna-
what I would have done.
I know. I didn't want to. I still had some days left on my tag, so I didn't want to shoot a jake. And then what if I get it? I could still go out longer, maybe find a
And you could
tom.
also shoot a jake and then just go turkey hunting again.
You were doing a lot of turkey hunting. I'm trying to
We're
find
gonna get you past this. Don't let people jake shame you.
Did you have a good turkey season up there?
The boys did.
It was good. It was solid. So I'd say overall,
Mark shot a big
How
one.
big?
in the
How many beards?
it was a big one. Like, in the grand scheme,
Sorry
like
if you don't wanna
usually it's
share
some
that.
no. I was hunting with a buddy of mine, so I gotta credit him because we're hunting on his place and he roosted this bird, and all I did was sneak in with him in the morning and do a little bit of calling, and he came in. But dude, it was a six bearded
way.
tom, and had like one so I've never measured a turkey, but I think it was like out of curiosity to like the bird itself was a curiosity, right? Definitely different. So I had 6 beards, like 1 and whatever spurs. I think it weighed like 23.75. Anyway, whatever the heck it was. But it had like 36.75 inches of total beard. My buddy ran the math on it because he texted me. He's like, because he went to the NWTF like official record book website. So unofficially, 100% unofficially, number 14
in the state.
In the state of Wisconsin.
in the
Did
state
you
of
mount him?
Wisconsin. Yeah. It's a little late for that.
Did you think about it, or did you not really think about when you shot it?
I didn't know where I'd put a turkey.
Yeah, I got one of mine mounted. It's nice.
I didn't really have a place for it, so he's just kind of in the
Everybody from
freezer.
Wisconsin that I've talked to that turkey hunted said they had a good season. When you get down south, excuse me, it wasn't near as good a year this year from everybody. There's something really messing with the turkey numbers. We've talked about
Somebody
that.
sent me a link. Something in the deer corn. It's got
An alpha toxin.
It's got something in it that is toxic to. I said I was
No
gonna read
way.
the article and I never did because I got busy over the weekend. But
That makes sense though.
I could probably pull it up right quick. We just got back from vacation and I got sick after we got back, so I'm still trying to
Yeesh.
come off of it. But I'm trying to find the article. I can read the article.
Everybody come back got the mofongo virus. We went to Puerto Rico. Great place if you haven't ever been. Beautiful.
Except for it about killed me last week. I thought they were gonna have to shoot me, but I'll find that article real quick while y'all are.
I'm gonna if you don't, or if you find it, send it, because I'm super curious about that, because you do hear about declining turkey populations, particularly in those southern states where it's like it's a big problem right now.
I found it right here.
Missouri's numbers are way down. I don't consider them a southern state, but I guess they are. But from Missouri, Tennessee, all the way back, I guess, to the Carolinas, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, everybody's numbers are struggling.
Alpha toxin in corn harms deer and turkeys. There's 3 steps to prevent the trouble. Many avid hunters want to support healthy deer population. Alpha toxins are chemicals produced by some species of fungus. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. First identified in 1961 after more than 100,000 turkeys and other domestic animals died from ingesting alpha toxin contaminated feed. But yeah, they're saying it might be in the corn that people were putting out. So I don't know. I'll forward this along to Haley and she can disperse it. But
yeah, send it to me.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. But I mean,
wonder
that is
where it came back from. Like if it was from that long ago and then it wasn't an issue, like where'd it come from again now?
Right.
I don't know, but we've got places. So we, in addition to waterfowl hunting in Texas, we also have a place in Oklahoma, and we've been doing that for about 8 years now. And in the wintertime, the flocks of turkeys would be in the hundreds, 200 to 300 birds. You'd go around a corner scouting for ducks and geese, and there would just be this wad of turkeys. And it's down to like 10, if that. So there's not a lot of turkey hunters in that area. It's not a heavily pressured area. Where'd they go? They just vanished overnight from one season to the next. Jeff was scouting, and he's like, this is really weird, but I'm not seeing any turkeys where I used to see hundreds of them. Are aliens abducting turkeys now and running experiments on them? Because, I mean, we don't see just an abundance of coyotes and raccoons when we're up there. So...
yeah, that was my next question. If there was any, I mean, not that I know coyotes would take out hundreds, but I guess you never know. If there's a bunch of them there.
We had a guy post a picture the other day on one of our pages, and he has a new place. It was 100 acres or something. They trapped like 55 coons off of it.
Right.
And he said they're still everywhere. It's just crazy. Okay, I want to talk spot and scope.
No, hold on. I wanted to know what you said. The Spark was good for the turkey hunting. I was looking it up.
That Spark Solar, so it's going to come with kind of like a multi-height mount system. So what I do is put a rail on your shotgun and then use the low mount. But it's money, man. Like it's one of those things where, like, if you just run a front bead like I have basically my whole life, you're like, well, I don't need that. I can kill a turkey, like no problem. But like, which you can, like, it's still obviously gonna work. But like, as you get into extending your effective range, that you got these modern shot shells like you guys are using. You might as well optimize their capabilities, if needed. And man, being able to, particularly, when you kind of get out to that, 30, 40, 50, being able to put that dot precisely where you want it, as well as see the whole bird versus like covering up the bird and just being able to see, part of it. I don't know, man. I dig it. And then I think you can pattern your shotgun better too, because you just have that repeatability with that precision to test different loads, know exactly what it's doing every time. It's repeatable. And you get to sight it in too, so
I'll be honest, I'm thinking about putting one on my shotgun for pheasant hunting.
I'm glad you brought this up because
I need some help shooting pheasants.
I was thinking, like, after the season, I'm like, well, I'm going to pull this thing off and then I'm, waterfowl or whatever. And then I'm like, what if I leave it on?
I know. That's why I think I might just try it. I went out pheasant hunting with our German short hair last fall, and it was just him and I, the dog, and I missed a few times. And then I ran out of shells, and the dog is kind of like looking at me like, finding all these birds for you. He probably got up like 3 or 4, and unfortunately I missed them.
If you want to mitigate dog guilt, dog-induced guilt.
He just looked at me. I was like, we have to go home now. I'm out of shells.
Get yourself a
red dot. I think I'd still miss with the red dot. Do y'all sell, are y'all going to venture off into like the camera with the optics and any of that stuff that you mount on your gun?
I mean, not that I'm aware of. The product development team, they're always looking at, different things and analyzing the market. So I wouldn't say like never, but I also can't say that I've heard anything at the same time.
I didn't. I had never seen those things. I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes to gadgets, I am pretty vanilla, and I'd never had any experience with like the shot cam and all that stuff, or I can't even remember what it is. That's one of it. This was not the brand, but I was hunting last year, and birds would get close, and this kid next to me, he would just on his gun, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? But that's how you wake up the camera. I did not know this. I thought he had a tick, so he would take his gun. We'd be sitting there in the blind, and he'd have his gun like this, and he'd hit the barrel of the gun, and I'm like,
I thought he had a tick.
he would do it every time. I thought he had like Tourette's or something, and that's how instead of like lashing out, he would just
It's pre-ritual before shooting.
I'm
he
like,
has to
what
hit
is
the
he? And then
barrel.
his dad was like, then he would hit it, and then his dad would hit it, and I'm like, the motherfuckers are talking about me is what they're doing. Like they've got some code, and they're like, this idiot guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's not calling the shot. Because then they like hit it, and then like the birds would slide or whatever, and then they'd hit it again, back and forth. I'm like, what in the hell? So they had to they had to leave the blind early. They had to go catch a plane, and the guys on the other side of them were like, did you see what they were doing the whole hunt? Like, yeah, they were turning on their camera. I'm like, oh, that's what it was. Okay, so it all made sense, but I had never seen anything like it in my 20 years of doing this. I just thought it was a tick.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't really seen it like for waterfowl hunting, but I guess that makes
Yep.
sense. Most guys are just like having their phone and shooting at the same time
Yes.
and recording on their
What?
cell phone.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, I'm just gonna
I
shoot.
want to
Yeah.
talk spotting scopes. Spotting scopes are really getting to be more popular with the waterfowl guides. Drive around, look at big racks of birds, and looking for bands. They do it all the time. What's the best bang for your money on spotting scopes, do you think?
I mean, in our lineup, you're going to see kind of, I guess, 3 different tiers. You're going to see the Diamondback HD, which would be like our entry point, and then which is actually extremely capable spotting scope. Then you're going to get to the Viper HD, which is like that upper mid tier of price performance. And then you get into the Razor HD, which is going to be kind of like that top tier alpha class spotting scope. So, different tiers of price, performance, obviously optical quality, clarity, resolution, color fidelity, things like that are going to go along with those different tiers. They're all incredibly capable. So, kind of up to the individual as far as, what's going to best suit their needs. But they all do a good job though. And like you said, I mean, when you're trying to, I think some folks don't necessarily think of optics when they think of waterfowl, but they definitely go hand in hand and are going to be a huge
I
asset.
use binoculars every single day, multiple times a day.
I was just going to ask you, Jeff. I was surprised more of them are going to spotting scopes instead of just using binocular
I
scouting.
use binoculars all the time, but when I sit and
I think it's when you're sitting on a feed.
yeah, they
You
just
can
sit
put
and they use more and more.
And
and you said
Just
they're looking for
bands
bands.
and stuff. But I
Yeah.
use my binoculars all the time. I mean, I've got 2 pair of them, and one sits on my dash in my pickup, and I'm telling you right now, they've been there I've got same binoculars I've been using off and on for 30 years, but I've got binoculars that stay with me. It's a tool that I use every single day. Now, my question on the spotting scope, I'm thinking about getting me a spotting scope. That's the reason I'm asking. Some of them have an angled lens, and some of them are straight lens. What's the advantage of either one of those?
So, I mean, a lot of that's going to come down to personal preference. And then I'd say if you're doing, and Haley, you back this up, but if you're doing a lot of your scouting from the vehicle, using a car window mount, a straight spotter, a straight eyepiece might be a little bit more conducive to that. That said, if you like an angled eyepiece and you're using it for a variety of applications, it will have like a rotating collar on the spotting scope body where you can loosen that, angle the eyepiece, and then use that from the car window as well. So if you're out of the pickup or if you're in the field, I generally prefer an angled eyepiece oftentimes hunting with somebody else. Number one, I just like the ability to just, kind of dip your head down in. I think it's a little bit more comfortable. You don't have to monkey with the tripod as much, as well as if you're with like multiple people of varying heights, you're not having to like really crouch down to get into a straight eyepiece or, adjust the tripod. You can just bend at the waist and peek in there and go look at the same thing. But I mean, straight spotting scope's a little more intuitive though. Like as far as finding the subject, you're probably going to do that a little bit quicker. It's more like pointing your finger as far as subject acquisition goes.
We had an old game warden here when I first got in business, and he was here forever. But he had a straight spotting scope, but he had it mounted on like a rifle, a stock, like a gun. Except there wasn't a barrel. It was a spotting scope. And I'm gonna tell you what, it was very nice to use that.
Did he not have? He didn't have a method of like a tripod.
So he just used a gun stock like it was a rifle, but it was a spotting scope. And I thought that's a really cool idea, and I've never seen nobody do that.
It was also 30 years ago, so probably wasn't much in way of how can I mount this thing.
Well, it worked really good.
I'm not doubting that it did, Jeff.
But it was a lot more.
You just have to keep holding it, right? Because if it's
but if you're not looking at it,
I wouldn't want to be holding a spotting scope. Like trying to hold it steady with anything but a tripod.
That'd make you dizzy real fast. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, man, those pirates all those years ago with their little spotting scope, basically, they were probably like, you know what? If I could use both of my eyes, it would be so handy. And now Jeff's wanting to go back to the spotting scope.
Well, the spotting scope, you can see better with the spotting scope from a long way off because it's steadier, like you said, with the tripod. So
those pirates all those years ago were like, man, if I could use both of my eyes, I could really, really get there faster.
All right, I'm going to touch on
Jeff's going backwards.
I'm going to touch on something else. Your product, American made?
So I'd say Vortex is an American family, veteran-owned company, and then depending on the piece where it falls in the lineup, it's going to be made in Japan, the Philippines, or China. Just depending. There's probably some other, things in there as well. Or select pieces are manufactured in the U.S. as well. So just really specific to the piece, what its intended purpose is, its level of quality, and the price.
What is the situation with your getting product to you? Because we have a big company that we were dealing with that we can't deal with right now, that we can't do it with them until 2023 because of product. Now, they're not a sponsor of ours yet. They were fixing to be a big sponsor of ours, but we lost them because of product. Are y'all dealing with the same problems with product right now?
I mean, everyone kind of is. I know we're still getting product in, but it's not as like fast, obviously, as it used to be before the backup.
Yeah, I mean, I think no matter what industry you're in, there's probably challenges, and I think it's been again sometimes piece specific, but then also like I think hopefully I think we're through the thick of it and coming out the other side. I think it's getting a little better. Yeah.
And the shipping container cost has just jumped up 200-300% in the last couple of years too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been.
And I think every company in America is dealing with the same thing. The one that floors me the most is the computer chips for trucks. How hard is it to send a guy over to China with a backpack and to fill him up with computer chips and fly back over here? I mean, it's not like you're shipping the whole car over here. You just need a little chip. They're small.
You ever
they're
see
waiting
that
for the components of it, right? Like,
you ever see that TV show Locked Up Abroad?
Yes, I have.
I think that might be the problem.
Yeah, you're dealing with a communist country that's not just going to let you waltz in and be like, hey, I'm here for the chip. I'm the chip guy. Like, fill my backpack up.
Well,
like,
they want
out in rocks, buddy.
See you next week.
They're wanting to sell that product, though. Somebody somewhere is wanting to sell a product and make money off of it. And if it's a computer chip, which is real small, you'd think in Shanghai computer chip companies like, hey, send them a backpack over there with a bunch of chips.
I don't know that the government of China is
they're not
a willing
us.
participant in like, just let the Americans come over and get all their products. Let's not make any more hassle for the Americans.
Well, I would agree with you.
I think the good news is I think Jeff just volunteered to be the chip guy.
I'll be the
So we got a chip guy now.
I'm the chip guy. Fill it up.
Well, with
get a big backpack.
with $5 a gallon gas in Texas, I might have to be a chip keisterer now. I guess I don't know what's going to happen.
And you don't know how big the chips are.
A computer chip's not very big. There's 1,000 of them in this little phone right here, probably.
But you don't know how big it is. They said I got a pickup, and they said there's like 80 that just operate my screen.
Oh, geez.
So it's like, for the longest time, I thought you needed one chip per pickup. That's not the case at all. Like they said there's 80 in my console looking thing, and then that doesn't count just all the other electrics on it. So you might have several hundred in a single pickup. I did not know that information.
Like we talked about, advancing technology. I mean, it just keeps getting more and more.
Well, engineers are not real sharp. My wife got a brand new Tahoe, and if you're over 4'4", you cannot put nothing in the back of it without crouching over to get it in because of the spoiler that's on the window. Absolutely the stupidest thing ever. And I think the new Suburbans are the same way too. You open the back window, the back door, and the whole thing raises up to 4'6". So
should have got a Ford.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm serious. You got to bend over to get into the dang thing. I'm like, who the hell come up with this idea? And did somebody not open the back of it and say, oh, this ain't going to work for Americans? Or the average American's over 5 foot tall. So, but who knows? So y'all aren't having a lot of trouble with supply line. So people that want to buy stuff, they can buy directly from you off of your website.
No.
They can't buy directly off of you because your website had
retailers.
Okay, well, it had prices on there, so I didn't know.
Yeah, it has prices and all the information, and then kind of says, like, find your local dealer.
Okay.
So when you see a price on Vortex on your website, is that the price that it's going to be at your retailer, or can they monkey with that a bit?
So on our website, and that's definitely a good thing to point out, you're going to see the MSRP price, which I'd say, by and large, very likely you're going to see it for significantly less than that at your local retailer. Yeah.
Okay, so the price that you see on there is not the price you'll pay at your retailer. I got a cord here that I'm
but
could vary depending on retailer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What do y'all have planned for this this coming hunting season? Hunting season is coming up. Are y'all got any trips planned that y'all are going to be hitting the road for, or what do we got going on?
I mean, I know I've got a couple
fun
on the
trips.
books. A couple big ones. So going to be leaving shortly in the near future to go hunt axis deer on Hawaii. So pretty jacked about that.
Oh, tough
and then
guy. Tough life,
I know,
man,
right?
I'm telling you.
I know. It's like, so that's actually why the main reason why I jumped on is I wanted to get you guys' sympathy with that. And then Kodiak, going to chase blacktails on Kodiak. So those are the big ones for me this fall for sure. So.
When do you go to Kodiak?
August.
When do you go? When do you go into Hawaii?
July.
Oof, what?
Might be a little warm.
So what?
Probably a little warmish.
What's the day to day on that? What? Run me through. So you land in Paradise. I'm sure you're staying. You know.
What
Hawaii.
island are you going to?
We're going to be on Maui.
Okay, so you're going to Maui.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so staying at a beachfront hotel, I'm assuming.
VRBO.
Okay, yeah. So
Hold on real quick. Just curious now, because I'm a VRBO guy. What's it running in Hawaii for VR? Because I know it's really expensive over there. What's it, 500 to 1,000 a night?
I mean, depends on the place.
Depends on the place, yeah. I mean, it's not, because Mark and I booked it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not oceanfront.
No, we went for
like busy hunting, so it's not. Well, what's interesting is when we were looking at all the VRBOs in Hawaii, is like they're all part of resorts, which is fine, right? Because most people, I guess, are going for vacation. But it was like, we don't really want the guys to be in the middle of a resort.
Yeah, I didn't want to be like walking through the lobby,
With
next to people are like on their honeymoon, be like, don't mind us, we're just,
excuse us,
we're just gonna butcher this deer in our room.
So we had to find one that was a little off the touristy trail.
how far from the touristy trail?
And like you were talking about,
I mean, it's not that far.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at a map,
yeah.
but it just wasn't part of one of the resorts.
It was more like just regular living, I guess, versus like resort type living.
I'm curious to hear about this trip.
More like renting like a home than a condo.
I would really like to hear about this trip when y'all get back, because this is very interesting, because we've never had nobody go to Hawaii to hunt.
Well, I'm gonna have him outline it here if you'll hush for just a second.
Okay.
So you're staying at the VRBO. How many people are going with you?
Mm-hmm. So there'll be 4 of us total. So we're gonna document it, and I'm probably actually not the right guy to talk to because you got a first timer here as well. So I'd probably have more to report back with than
How
going
many
in.
days are you going to be there?
I think we'll have 4 hunt days.
4 hunt
quick.
days. Flight is what, like 17 hours, something astronomical? How long is the flight over there?
It's a full from Wisconsin. You're looking at a full day of travel for sure. Like you're pretty whooped when you get there.
It'll be like Chicago to Hawaii is like 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's not
That
as bad as
surprises
I
me.
thought.
I thought it was 6 hours from just Frisco. That's good. That's not a bad flight.
Yeah, I thought you had to land in San Francisco and everything went out of San Francisco. Very cool.
So, now are you going with an outfit or are y'all doing this on your own?
So a little bit of both. So know some folks on the island. So I think we're gonna hunt like a mix of public and private, but it'll be essentially on our own.
Because everything over there has been brought in that you hunt, other than wild boar, correct? And I guess they were brought in once too.
I mean, exactly, yeah. So I mean, that's something that is super interesting. Is you have kind of like these really cool species that there are, that people hunt there. They're woven into the fabric of the hunting culture, but none of them, are really native to the island. But they've been there so long that they basically are native to the island. So it's a cool opportunity for sure.
Yeah,
and I hear they taste great.
They do taste great. I had a guy bring us, because there's a lot of ranches here in Texas have them on them now.
From Maui, have you though?
No, not a Maui axis,
Well,
but
then
just a Texas axis. So it
This
might be a little
Maui
different
might have a pineapple twang to
But
it.
I think they hunt goats, boars, and axis are their 3 main things that they hunt over there. I think, if I'm not.
Yep, I think you
And
nailed
it's a
it.
high elevation hunt,
Yep.
isn't it?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure you'll gain some elevation, but you're going to be at sea level. Going from sea level to something. So, however I get up in those mountains, like I know, like on Kodiak,
Never
it's
been
kind
there.
of the same. I'd assume it's kind of the same
10,000
thing.
feet is the highest elevation.
That's what I
in
was
Maui.
thinking. Maui's.
Holy mackerel! I didn't
It
realize
might
it got
give
that.
Might be your
They
like
ha-
training for
Man,
Alaska a little bit.
you guys are filling me
They have
in
snow
right now.
skiing over there.
No.
Yes, they do. You can ski in Hawaii.
Give me
This
a
is going to be 1,246. I've been right. Andy's been right 7 times. This is going to be another one. Yes, you can snow ski in Hawaii.
I'll be a son of a bitch.
I told you. But anyways, that's why I asked. It's big mountains. Hey, we were in Puerto Rico the other day, and we went from sea level to 4,000 feet in 10 minutes on a car. So that you're going to be in some big ass hills, I bet you.
Yeah,
You got about 3 weeks,
And
but
it's 10,000 feet on Maui.
in a sauna
that's
or
the
something,
highest
'cause it's gonna
elevation.
I
be
think
so
it's going to be a
hot.
lot cooler than you think it is up there, because the videos I've seen of people hunting over there, they're wearing coats and stuff. You get 10,000 feet, you go hunt right now at Pikes Peak, and it's cold when you get to the top of the mountain. And that's 14,000 feet, but
I'm shocked.
oh yeah.
yeah, it's big ass mountains there.
You're doing it with a rifle,
Probably rifle and bow.
so you're
yeah.
taking both.
Yeah. Mhm.
I hear it's difficult. That's what you're.
I've heard the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like just the terrain, and like they're very skittish from what I've heard.
I've heard that as well. Little jumpy.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it'll be cool, man. It'll be an experience. I mean, that's one thing. Like from hunt, like I love doing new things and new places, and like obviously this will be a first for me. But hopefully I'll have some new perspective. And when
Are
I
you the
get
big
back,
boss at Vortex?
I am not.
How did y'all
no.
approach the big boss and say, "Hey, we want to do a hunt in Hawaii"? I mean, that's got to be something. He's like, "I bet they do." Shit, I would too.
Great footage.
They're actually finding out about this right now. So.
When does this come out?
I might need to talk to somebody.
Make sure it's after July.
Yeah. When's this gonna hit? By the way, we may want to, like you were saying earlier before we started, that we could like cut things out. This
Yeah.
might be.
This might be the time, right? Yeah.
That's a hell of a
But I
project.
mean, it's not an easy hunt, and you'll be able to showcase the durability and reliability on your product. So it's an easy sell to the higher ups, Jeff. You just gotta have the right guy to do it.
Yeah, it's all about the story too. I mean, obviously, it's a cool hunt to do, but it's not just like going. Just
Yeah,
to do it. There's gonna be a bigger story, and doing some other details on it. So
Yeah, I mean, just the place itself, you know. I mean, and that's one thing that I think is so cool about hunting is the places that it takes you. You know, I mean, that's half the reason, at least for me, like why I go. It's like, yeah, I want to go shoot Sitka blacktails. I think they're amazing deer. They're super cool, right? But it's where you're doing it. You know, it's the fact that that hunt can be as tough as a goat hunt, but you're just chasing deer. But you can chase deer over the counter, and you don't need a guide. You know, so I hunted the Kodiak one other time, and I was actually glassing a goat. I'm like, oh, what the hell is above that goat? And it was a deer. You know what I mean? So it's like you're getting the same wild, crazy goat-like experience, but for a fraction of the price, and you can just do it on your own.
So you go to Hawaii and then up to Alaska in August. What's the turnaround time going to be like on that? Are you home for a couple weeks, or is it later in August?
I think about a month. So I'll be home for about a month. So yeah, they're split up nicely. So yeah, that would be not conducive to home life if they were stacked on top of one another. That's
and
for
then
sure.
you roll right in from that right into just regular hunting season in September. You've got it licked. I think we lost him. Anybody there? 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
There
We're
we
back now.
go. You're back now.
oh, there we go.
And we're back.
Well, like I said,
No more
you
suffering.
go from that just right into regular hunting season in September. So you got your summer licked, my friend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a full fall for sure. But looking forward to it though. I feel like I've got stuff spaced out enough that like
Doesn't feel too chaotic.
I feel like we'll be okay.
Yeah. I have no fun hunt plans, so
That's
we'll live
perfect.
vicariously through you.
Blank slate.
Yeah.
Fill it in.
Probably just do a lot. I really like upland hunting now.
That's your jam?
Just because, like, it just. Well, I like that I can. Now that we have the German short hair, like, obviously waterfowl hunting is fun, but it's like if you think about everything you gotta take with you and set up. Whereas, like, if I have an afternoon free, I'm like, what? I just grab my gun, grab the dog, and we go and walk a few miles on public land and find something. So, I really like it.
I mean, the thing about Wisconsin too, though, is like starting. If you want to hunt whitetails with a bow, you get September through, in some areas, the end of January.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were serious, like, you could take your entire fall and hunt deer if you wanted, which would actually be amazing. I've thought about doing that. I've thought about planning 0 other hunts and just hunting whitetails for like 4 months. I think it'd be amazing.
Maybe some year. Not this year, but
not
maybe
this year.
next year.
That's not happening this year. But you should do that this year.
I might get into whitetail. We'll see. I've been
Might?
thinking about it.
Okay, we're gonna talk.
I just don't have.
We're gonna talk
Gotta
offline.
work
here.
on
Are
my
you a
patience
bow hunter
of,
at all,
like,
Haley?
Sitting and waiting.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't have the patience either.
But being here now and everyone's talking about it, I'm like, I feel like I should do that.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I will eventually.
this summer. We'll get you sorted out.
Practicing.
It's not enough.
We go outside.
So where is
daily.
y'all's
It's
where's
funny
your corporate headquarters at? Y'all are in Wisconsin, right? We're at.
Yep. We're just west of Madison in
Okay.
Barneveld.
That's pretty country up there.
Lots of bridges.
It is. Yeah. It's. Yep. It's kind of that. That we're kind of in that bluff country area, mix of rolling farmland, bluff country. Like it's a cool spot out here. Barneveld's a great community. They've been super welcoming. This is kind of it is a relatively new HQ for us, and the town's been amazing. Great people. So it's a really
Is that
really
where all
good
the
fit.
Chicago people go for the summertime, or is that further north of y'all?
No, further north. More like north of. Well, I'm from Wausau, so like Wausau is like the center of the state. So they typically go north to like Minocqua, Eagle River, Hayward, I would say.
Mhm.
Wisconsin is a beautiful, beautiful state. More people need to visit that've never been there.
Would you say that? I don't know
tell
if they'd
people.
say that.
Spill our
Yeah,
secret.
Keep out of here.
I'd say go visit. If you're in a place up there, you love tourism. You don't want people to move in up there.
A lot of bad drivers with tourism.
Trust me, Texas is the influx of everybody from California, so we don't need all that. I love Washington Island, one of the prettiest places I've ever been. It's a cool place. Anywhere on that.
I've heard. Have you been there? I haven't been there.
Door County's awesome.
So,
Door
were
County's
you
good.
a deer hunter before? I mean, were you a deer hunter before your time at Vortex, or were you a waterfowl hunter, bird hunter, Mark?
So I grew up. My home state's Washington State, so I grew up hunting black-tailed deer and Roosevelt elk and grouse predominantly, and then migrated east. So I didn't start hunting whitetails. Well, I hunted whitetails. Washington is an interesting state because you have blacktails, whitetails, and mule deer, but you have to pick. Like, you have to choose your weapon if you're going to hunt with. So I just grew up on the west side of the state. My family rifle hunted, so we rifle hunted. So I rifle hunted deer and elk. But started bow hunting a little bit when I lived there. But when I moved to Nebraska, I worked for Cabela's for like 7 years in Sydney. And that's kind of when I got into bow hunting whitetails. And yeah, man, immediately fell in love with it. That's as much as I love doing a variety of things, like I try to reserve the first 2 weeks in November to bow hunt whitetails.
Our guide staff got onto bow hunting about 3 years ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And my goodness, it was a shift in like all of their priorities. It was, we get done with scouting and we'd have like 15 minutes before dinner and they're like, I gotta go shoot my bow. I gotta shoot at least 10 times. And it was crazy. It's one of those things that whenever you start to take it seriously, it becomes an obsession very, very easily.
And we would have starved to death if we'd have relied on them what they killed with their bow to feed us.
Yeah, nothing.
I think there's some parallels with golf. With like you love it because it's like frustrating and you're always trying to figure it out and
you're always practicing.
Golf is the most expensive.
Some people get better. Yeah. I don't.
Golf is the most expensive hobby I ever gave up.
No, I don't know, Jeff. You replace it with another one.
What?
The casino?
That's not a hobby.
What would you call it? That's not a hobby.
It's called entertainment.
It's a side hustle.
That's not a hobby. That's a sickness, actually.
Probably.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Probably pretty close. Yeah, probably pretty close.
You say, okay, so here, we're going to get into definitions course. You say you go there to relax yourself.
I do.
Okay, well, I turkey hunt to relax myself. I would call turkey hunting a hobby of mine.
Okay, going to the casino is a hobby. I'm not going to sleep over
there
it.
You go.
Sickness is probably a better description of it than a hobby, though. But golf, I used to be the same way with golf, though. I was all in on golf. Had the newest, best, greatest, everything in the world it is, and you know, you buy high and you sell cheap in golf equipment. That's how it goes for me. So,
but it is.
We have our golf outing next week. This
I
will
know.
be my first
You've
time
never golfed
golfing.
before?
don't do it. Do not do it.
I just do the mini golf.
I need to sign up for that.
They were like, hey, you want to be on our team? And I was like, well, I don't golf, but sure. I guess we'll see how it goes.
I think it's going to go
Have you
great.
bought a set of clubs yet?
No, I'm going to borrow someone
I'm telling
else's.
you right now,
We're
don't
gonna
do
share.
it. Do not do it. It's like taking crack. Do not do it, because if you like it, you're going to be buying a set of pings next week, and then you're going to buy you a golf cart, and then you're going to have all the new drivers. I'm telling you. You might as well just write me a check for $12,500. You keep the other $12,500, and you'll be better off. There you go.
Money ahead.
Saving money.
Yeah.
And then I can take
keep
your
you
money to the
updated.
casino and do my hobby.
Support his
Yeah,
addiction.
there you go. Everyone
I
wins.
golfed, and it did not bite me, thank goodness, so you're good. Like, if you suck as bad as I did, you're just like, oh.
That's why it didn't bite Andy. He was absolutely horrible.
I saw no shimmer of hope in my golf game, so I just quit before I even tried. But
Yeah, it might be once a
Andy's the only
year
person.
thing.
Andy's the
on
only
our
person I
outings.
know that can hit the ball forward and hit a guy behind him.
I did.
So.
I did. I tipped the very top of it. It went down, and then it went backwards. So
Horrible. Absolutely a horrible golfer.
You know, that might be some sort of record, though. You might hold a
the longest
record.
backwards drive in the
Backwards
in the
drive.
history of golf.
Yeah, we're in marketing over here, so it's all on how you spin it.
Yeah,
Literally with
there
that
you
golf
go.
ball.
I can't believe
But
you shot a turkey with 6 beards and you did not mount that.
I just, like, it's cool. I mean, obviously I saved the fan and the beards and got some good pictures and everything, but just I didn't know where I was going to put it. I thought about it. It crossed my mind.
It is harder to find a spot, like, because I have my first Wisconsin one that I got mounted. It was beautiful. But it's hard too because it's not like a deer that you can just hang on the wall. So there is like a specific
It's kinda
spot
like
you have
in
to
the way.
find for it. And with
Right.
dogs, like you don't want it on the
Oh.
ground. So mine's like up on a table right now. It's not
This
where it should be, but
if
it
you
is harder
can
to find
talk
a spot.
Vortex into sending you to Hawaii to shoot an axis deer, they should have mounted your turkey to put in the office somewhere.
Oh, that probably should cross my mind.
Yeah, very good. So we're gonna start wrapping up here. You're both. I want both of your favorite product. If you can only get one Vortex product for the rest of your life, what is it gonna be? Choose wisely.
Ooh, that's your toughest question yet. I'll pick one. I'll go first.
Okay.
But then also, it's not an accurate representation of. Okay. Can
Go
I pick
ahead.
one
Yeah.
per
Okay.
category?
We'll go.
I know. I was like surprised. you were
We'll go
first,
one
'cause
per
usually you're-
category. How about that?
So I'm gonna go just because we talked rifles a little bit. We talked long range a little bit. The Razor HD LHT, which stands for Light Hunter Tactical. It's a 3-15 by 42 rifle scope. It's got pop up and down, locking elevation turret. It's got an illuminated center dot in the reticle. The windage is capped, keeping it totally streamlined. The optics are absolutely off the charts, and you can dial it for and execute long range shots. But it's also lightweight and compact, so it complements any regular hunting rifle. That's like my number one. I love that scope. That's probably my favorite scope that we've ever made. I love it. It also is like, one of our more expensive hunting rifle
There you
scopes,
go.
but it's worth it.
I guess if we're talking rifle scopes, I got to shoot the new Gen 3
Oh,
6-36, and I don't really do long range shooting, but we had a bunch of different scopes out that we could test out, and that Gen 3 was my favorite.
that's a special scope.
It is
Like
very,
if you're
very
in the
special.
like long range precision, like you
Yeah.
said, 6-36 optics are phenomenal.
I was just hitting all the
First focal
targets, and I was
plane.
like, "This is awesome."
All the things.
Must be me. No.
That scope has all the things.
Yeah.
A big scope too, though. So it's like different application.
True. You wouldn't want to carry it around hunting.
I mean, people do. People
Really?
do. I
Yeah.
mean, some people will commit to it, but like I think your practical application is not that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to, personally. But
So where does her price point come
Yeah,
in
like-
compared to yours?
it's actually more.
Oh my goodness.
So
Oh,
there
that
you
makes
go.
sense.
Yeah.
I
Would have
didn't-
been like the more expensive things.
I
What a
didn't-
surprise.
I didn't think you were gonna go more pinky up than me, but you did.
That's because I haven't technically bought one yet. It was nice that I got to test them out, like different scopes, without having to
Mhm.
purchase one yet. So that helped.
What's your best selling product?
That'd be for analytics, Jeff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard
I'd
to
say,
say.
by the numbers in general, like, so like if a person's familiar with like the nomenclature of our products, it's generally going to start at Crossfire, Diamondback, Viper, Razor, and the Diamondback Viper region is like that really big sweet spot of price and performance. I mean, you're getting a lot of bang for their buck. I mean, for what you have into an optic, the performance that you're getting is like pretty astounding. So I'd say by the numbers, those do quite well.
Well, y'all got a good product. You're an American-owned, veteran-owned company. I salute you guys for that. We're proud to have you on the podcast with us. And
Haley, before we let you go, Jeff was scoping out your left hand, and there is still no ring. So
Still
Jeff
nothing.
was.
I knew that was
It was
coming
going
at some
to,
point.
so.
We talk about it every time.
I didn't know you wanted to talk
You know,
about it.
I would let you know.
So
I would let you know. I wouldn't leave you in the dark.
We just wanted to make sure that when the time does come, that you don't forget about us down here in Texas. So
are you with the same guy? Are you with
never.
the same guy?
Yes.
What's his
Yeah.
problem then?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe soon. That's not my question to ask. So I
maybe
guess.
soon.
Says who?
Yeah, why not?
That's true. That
it's
is true.
2022.
It could
My
be.
gosh, if
I know that was.
Haley, it's not your question to ask.
That
if
is
a
not your
5-year-old can
Man, that was.
I'm more traditional. I want to
There
be
you
asked.
go.
We'll put it
That's
that way.
it. That's the Haley we know.
Well, I figured we was going to have a new name on you by now, but guess not.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep pronouncing.
I still got some guides that are single, too.
When Jeff said that we were having you on again, I was like, okay, this is it, the big announcement. And we're an hour in, and I was just making sure.
Not
Okay.
yet.
All right.
Sometime.
Maybe.
Just for the record,
Maybe.
I didn't even want to bring it up. I was being nice this time because I thought, usually I grill her pretty hard on her dating and her life in Germany and all that other stuff, but not this trip.
No. New leaf. All right, how are our Packers going to do this year before we let you go?
I'm hoping good. A little worried we don't have Adams, but I mean we have Rodgers, so I have high hopes.
We have Rodgers, and that is about it.
No,
We have Rodgers and Aaron
I don't know.
Jones.
Maybe he'll spread the ball out more now.
To who?
so.
that new kid coming in is going to be a stud.
They say he is struggling mightily.
Wait, we still had good receivers. He just wouldn't use
Well,
them.
who are they?
Alan Lazard, Jeff.
That's it. Y'all did not have good receivers.
Sammy Watkins.
I think
Randall Cobb.
Sammy Watkins is going to come up and do real
Yeah,
good.
Cobb. What a
Julio
guy.
Jones will end up being a Green Bay Packer by about September 1st.
Him and his weak-ass hamstring.
That's
can
okay.
Stay in Atlanta.
They end up 12-5 and win the division over Minnesota.
It doesn't
Minnesota
matter if they
11-6.
can't win in the playoffs.
Well, then just take off the whole season. I mean, just what do you want me to tell you?
Is that not frustrating as a Packer? It's the same thing every year.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, it is. I hate it. And like when we lost this year, it's like you do so good, and then we just
Gotta
choke,
tackle-
and it's like
Got to tackle
Shouldn't
Debo.
be surprised,
Mark,
but-
are you a Seahawks fan?
it's rough.
So I mean, yeah, I grew up, Seahawks fan, so that's my number one squad. But I have
I didn't know that about
Get
you.
away from
adopted.
him.
It's like as long as
Do you
I'm
keep
like
that a secret so people in the office don't pick on you?
no, because I have adopted the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Just as long as they're not playing the Seahawks.
Okay, that's fair.
Which is really it's a weird switch that flips in my head. Then I just
Yeah, but wait a
automatically
second.
root for Seahawks.
The
But
Seahawks
my
broke
wife-
our heart in like 2012 on the onside kick. So like, don't let them off scot-free here, Haley. Like they ripped our heart out.
Okay.
We
You know
had that game won.
Just
Yeah.
found this out, so now we
You
gotta
don't have to
give
worry
them the
about
heat.
Seattle
It's
anymore.
probably in.
Well,
No.
It's probably not wrong.
Because
Broncos.
Wilson's with the Broncos. Is that where you're at?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Weird. That'll
But
be
like,
weird.
yeah, yeah, the Seattle is not a popular team in this state. I'll say that. I might be like the only Seattle fan.
It's just because they're in like we just play them a lot. So
There's been,
like other teams that we don't play, people wouldn't really like the Bears, right? We
But
play
we
the
own the
Bears all the
Bears.
time,
Right.
So we're gonna
we own
care
the
more
Bears.
than
Roger says so.
there's been a there's-
Rodgers owns them.
I think there's been a few significant games that have stung
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah,
between
when you
those
ripped our
two.
heart out on the
For
onside
sure.
kick in Seattle.
Them and the 49ers.
I'm not sure
Can't handle it.
I've cheered so loud at a football game
Oh,
at the TV.
I haven't
the
seen
TV,
it
yeah.
so loud at a TV. Like a lineman's basically going for the foot. Let the hands guy do it. He's out there for a reason. Don't try to field that ball.
Green Bay's in for a big dose of reality. They have been lucky enough for the last 25 years to have two of the greatest quarterbacks ever to play the game back to back.
Yeah.
And that soon is going to be over with
I would
because
agree
Jordan
with
Love
that.
is not it. And that was a big mistake. And who knows what they've got coming next. The way that franchise is, I'm assuming something will happen like Trevor Lawrence or somebody will end up having a bad year, and Green Bay will make a trade for a fourth-round pick for him, and he'll end up being a star for them. They've got a knack for coming up with people. So
Indianapolis is still looking. They went
Yeah.
from Manning to Luck. So,
Luck might come back and be a Green Bay quarterback. I heard he's talking about trying to come back and play football again.
oh, he's still my beating
He's a
heart.
stud. Anyways, we appreciate y'all being on here. We thank y'all for sharing y'all's time with us. God bless y'all.
Have a safe trip to Hawaii and to Alaska. And Haley, it's good talking to you again.
Yes, good to see you guys again.
We're gonna get Haley that bow
There
here
you go.
shortly.
Yeah.
Don't you
Bows
guys
and,
worry
and
about
golf
that.
clubs. So like your life, you're in for your life is
My life
changing.
is
you're
changing.
Gonna be, you're gonna be broke, but it's changing.
Remember the name Ping, okay? Ping is the best clubs you can get for your money.
All right.
There you go. All right,
Got
y'all
it.
be safe, everybody.
God bless y'all and have a
All
good
right.
day.
Bye
Thanks,
bye.
guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
I need to hit the end button. There it goes.
Vortex Optics, they're big boys in the market.
Yeah, they are.
Good products, a lot of products, and I absolutely had no idea when he was talking all them numbers and stuff. I am not proud to say, but I know absolutely nothing about rifles.
Well,
I mean, nothing.
I don't either.
When Wyman starts talking about 45-70 sharps and stuff, I'm thinking, ooh, might as well speaking
But
Chinese to
what
me.
brought that up? I'll see if I can find the video. What brought that up? The match. I was trying to go somewhere with it, but there's a video. So he was talking all the numbers, and of course I was lost. But I didn't want to act like I was lost. But I was very lost.
See, that's a pride thing.
Yeah, I'm very proud.
I'm not too proud to admit I don't know something.
I did know what MOA meant though.
Did you? What's it mean?
Minute on angle or some shit. I knew
Some
what it
shit.
did. I couldn't. I know what it. I know what you're talking about when you talk about MOA. Have you ever sighted in a rifle though? That might be why you don't know what.
Let me
MOA
tell you,
is.
I tried one time.
Right.
It got worse.
Uh-huh.
I went from a foot off to about 12 foot off. I learned how to shoot with the open sights on Daisy BB gun when I was about 6 years old, and I can shoot one of them. I can shoot with the scope when it's on, but I do not know how to adjust the scope.
I think it's this. There's a TikTok of Aaron Rodgers with his golf coach. Chinese. It might as well be.
His golf coach?
The way that they're talking, like
about golf?
About his golf swing. -2, -8.
Oh, I don't have a clue about that. I just never.
But I don't understand how you can know that much about a fucking golf swing, that you can talk to somebody like that, and how Aaron Rodgers is smart enough. Hold on. I'll see if I can find. Like, how the hell can you know?
I can't believe you're watching YouTube videos of
It was
Aaron Rodgers
it was a
playing golf.
TikTok. It was a TikTok. I can't find the TikTok.
He's an athlete, anyways. And I've said it before. It's not all golfers aren't great athletes,
no, I
but all
wasn't
great
watching-
athletes can play golf.
I'm not watching an hour-long video on YouTube about his golf swing, but it was a TikTok, and I can't find the TikTok where this guy is breaking down his swing. Here it is, right here.
He does not look like a quarterback. How big is he?
6'2".
225 pounds? So he's not oversized. Like Troy Aikman's a big man.
Right.
Boy, Dak's a big fucker. I saw him at that concert. God almighty. Okay, we've heard enough.
Hold on, he's gonna start talking about -2 and shit. Zero attacking? What the fuck are we even talking about here? It's golf. You pick up a club and you swing the club.
All right.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't know.
And then he starts, you're a golfer.
Yeah, but I don't care.
And then he starts talking about like his left hand's got to be flat and don't open. And I'm not even smart enough to go to a fucking golf class. I can much less. If a guy's talking to me like that, I'm like, how do I hit it straight?
If he saw you practice golf and swing, he would tell you, Andy, take up racquetball.
Oh, I was going to show you. He's got a very, very pretty swing.
He's a pretty good golfer. Every one of those guys could golf, couldn't they? Could
Yeah.
Josh
I didn't-
Allen
I didn't-
monster hit the ball?
I did not watch the match, but from what I've heard, he had a little bit of trouble with placement.
Josh Allen did?
Yeah.
Kind of like
Which
film it.
makes
He hits
sense.
it deep and just where it goes, it goes.
And they said Patty Mahomes started drinking about hole 2 or 3, and the beer elevated him until about hole 9. They only played 12 holes, and then
Too much beer.
and then he cratered the last 3.
You know, I played golf one time with an old boy from out here, and I'm not going to say his name because he drinks a lot. Everybody knows him out here that listens to this and I'm talking about. We went to Lubbock and played. We played 18 holes at one course. We went and played 18 in another holes
In one day?
in one day.
Oh fuck!
He drank 6 beers on the way to Lubbock. We got to Lubbock. He drank 18 beers, a beer per hole. Then we went and ate lunch, and he drank 2 beers at lunch, and then he bought him another 12-pack on the next 18. Then after we left, we went and ate at Hooters, and he drank some beer on the way home. And then you know what he told me? I got me and your old 2 football coaches played golf with this guy.
Right.
We got hot fudge sundaes at the end. He's like, hot fudge sundae? I ain't had it. I try not to put anything in my body bad. That's what he told me. You drank 54 fucking beers today, and you're worried about having a hot fudge sundae.
How much of that did he sweat out though? That's the real question.
I was there sweating with him too, and none of us sweat. We were in carts. We didn't sweat out that much. Nobody sweats out 54 fucking beers. But the thing was, he was better golfer the second 18 we played. And he was a good golfer. He's a legit scratch golfer. And they said he could have played when he was young on the tour probably, but he could not play without drinking.
Really?
Yep. I do not want to watch this again.
Hold on, he's got a pretty swing, Jeff.
Well, that's nobody else can see it but me, and I don't really care about watching Aaron Rodgers swing a damn golf club.
It's a pretty swing. You would appreciate the swing.
But if I saw him at
a golf course?
Anywhere, I would not think he was a professional. If you did not know who he was, you'd never think he was an NFL quarterback.
Is that a driver?
Yes. It looks like a 3-wood, though, so it's probably not a driver. That's not even a 3-wood. That's probably a 5-wood.
What's the difference?
That you don't hit it as far. It's harder to hit, too. Whop. He's got a good swing. Oh, he's in Hawaii, too.
But how much of that, because you can't athlete a golfer.
No, but every good athlete can just about play golf other than Charles Barkley. He's horrible swing. He's a funny sumbitch. Did you see him the other day before the NBA game and this crowd was hollering at him?
Being very rude to Charles.
Did you see what he told him?
Don't make me call your mother.
No, he said, don't make me go to your house and fuck your mom.
Oh. But what I'm getting at is Rodgers.
Yeah, you're in love with him. We all know.
Brady, Mahomes, Allen.
They're athletes. I mean, Tom Brady.
But how much do you think that Josh Allen? Because for the last couple years, the offseason, you've seen Tom Brady golf. You've seen Aaron Rodgers golf. I've never seen Mahomes or Allen pick up a club.
Well, you don't hang out with them.
That's true, too.
I'm sure they play golf. They got lots of money. What do rich guys do? They play golf.
Play golf.
You know, if I had some other people around, I used to play golf a lot because I had guys around me, not rich guys, guys that played golf. And so we played golf a lot. All my golfing buddies have moved. So I quit playing golf.
But
and
not
I don't
only
want to
that,
drive to Dallas to play once or twice a week.
They
so
were
I quit doing
good at playing golf.
They were very good. So I enjoyed playing with them because it was a good game. I don't want to go play with a bunch of hackers. One of my best friends growing up, Bear, is a hell of a golfer. He could take your money at a country club because he comes up with knee-high socks and looks like a fucking redneck. But he can play golf as good as anybody I know. I mean, he's a scratch golfer on any course.
Was he an athlete in high school?
He was a decent athlete. I mean, he was nothing great, but he was a good golfer, but he's a good athlete. Anybody that's a good athlete can play golf other than Charles Barkley. I stick with that.
And Andy Shaver.
And everybody that's not, I mean, but just because you're a golfer doesn't mean you're a good athlete.
No.
Because you played golf. It's a very mechanical sport. It's like bowling. Mm-hmm. Bowling's the same way. Just because you're a great bowler, but every good athlete can probably bowl too. But
probably.
but there's some guys that have grown up at bowling alleys that probably aren't great athletes, but they know how to bowl. And probably your best bowlers probably are pretty athletic in some ways. But a car racer is not an athlete. We've talked about this. You may be a good athlete, but it's not because they don't have a damn thing to do with that you're car racing cars. No, because I knew some guys that raced cars growing up that were really good car racers. They couldn't fucking couldn't make a free throw if you let them shoot 100 of them.
But I think all four of those guys also played baseball. Brady played in college, obviously.
I don't know that Brady played in college, but
he played for Michigan.
I didn't know that, but I know that he was drafted out of high school in the pros.
Now let me double check. I don't want to get any hate mail. I'm pretty sure he played at Michigan.
He got drafted in the pros, so he probably did, but I don't know that for sure. Josh Allen probably not that I know of. I'm sure he played every sport growing up. The only place that gave him a scholarship in football was Wyoming Division I. Aaron Rodgers is a great athlete. I'm sure he played baseball too. Patrick Mahomes' dad was a pro baseball player. Mahomes was a hell of a basketball player, football player, and baseball player before he went to Tech.
Oh, okay. I don't think he played at Michigan.
Tech got beat yesterday.
They did. It was a good.
Tech's got a good program going. Joey was a great hire for them as a football coach. And I called two guys I know that know him real well, and I'm trying to get him on our podcast. I think that'd be
Brady
really
was a catcher in high school, and then taken as a future major leaguer. So I guess he was going to play catcher in the pros.
Don't see him as a catcher in the pros.
I do.
I don't.
He's fucking tough as nails.
I don't see him getting.
Brady's a tough guy. Brady's tough.
Not saying he's not a tough guy.
I think he's too tall to play.
He doesn't come across as a catcher. No, there's some big ass catchers out there.
6'5"? I think Brady's 6'5".
He's that tall? I did not realize he was that big.
He's a big old boy.
But I don't think of him as a Carlton Fisk type guy.
6'4", excuse me.
I don't see him real gritty. But he's a fucking athlete and he's a competitor. And
won't take no for an answer.
Honestly, the NFL, if they had a silhouette of a player to personify them, he is the greatest football player to ever play the game. Ever.
I'm not a big Brady fan.
I'm not either.
I appreciate but when he retired, I was like, fuck, there's a piece of the NFL that is going to be missing.
One of the greatest
ever. Maybe the greatest ever. But I'm not this big Brady guy. But when he announced it, I was happy he came back because I think the NFL is a better place with him. Shannon, he's just like, nobody can make him stop. It is incumbent on the defense to get this guy out of the league if you're tired of his shit. And what's this, year 18? And no defense has pounded on him enough. He's always been one step ahead with every change.
Well,
He's got the ball out of his hand faster. His footwork's gotten better. He's constantly innovated his game where the defense – and I understand that there have been a lot of rule changes to help the quarterback.
Yeah, he couldn't have played when Terry Bradshaw – he could have played, but he wouldn't have lasted as long.
Even in the late 90s, he couldn't take the beatings that Troy Aikman and Steve Young took. He couldn't take the beatings Brett Favre took, and that's just a quarterback ago.
You take Tom Brady, the greatest player to play the game ever. We are living right now with the most organized player that ever played Tom Brady and the most dysfunctional franchise ever to be in the football, and that's the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. Who the fuck gives $250 million guaranteed dollars to a guy that may not ever play football again?
He might not.
I mean, what?
He's going to get a year-long suspension this year.
So this is 2.5 years off, and guaranteed him money. The other owners are pissed off at the guy. They want the owner of Cleveland out of the league, and they can't do that
because it's bone. Because
there's
no law against being a shitty owner.
No, there's not. But they're mad at him for setting this new quarterback market on someone that can't even play.
Right.
I mean, that's dumb. Now
he didn't do what Dan Snyder did and lie about ticket sales.
Yeah. Now you've got Baker Mayfield. If I was Baker Mayfield, I would tell Cleveland, I'm not coming in. Mm-hmm. I'll sit out all fucking year. I'll take $0, or you can pay me $50 million for one season, or I'm not going to be there. He's got leverage on him. Trade me, cut me, give me $50 million a year for 1 year because you obviously don't want me here after this year anyways.
Because you're in with Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, who's not going to be very good.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh's got
Baltimore.
Pittsburgh's got one of the best running backs in the league.
Pittsburgh is what Green Bay is going to be in 3 years if they don't get the quarterback figured out.
Yeah, Mitch Trubisky, who's not a bad quarterback, but he's not a playoff quarterback.
But you're going from Big Ben, and I understand.
Big Ben's been horrible the last 3 years.
And I understand that you've been trying to replace him, but you never did. That's what Green Bay is going to be looking at when Rodgers retires.
You know who I think Pittsburgh should have traded for or signed?
Aaron Rodgers.
Jameis Winston.
Oh. He's happy in New Orleans.
They should have offered him a 3-year deal.
Let Jameis let him do what he's going to do. No, I won't even bring that up. It was a Pittsburgh quarterback, but we'll move on.
But anyways, I don't think there's a quarterback in the draft that's going to be worth the shit that came out. None of these rookie quarterbacks going to be very good at all.
I will bring it up. Fucking Haskins his blood alcohol level was through the roof, and he had been taking ketamine.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him. He did it himself.
And
he's not a victim. He's not a victim. He's a dumbass.
Right. Which everybody was. Who wasn't thinking like, okay, he got hit at wee hours of the morning. He's probably intoxicated. Now,
the guy wonders why he can't make it in the NFL. Tom Brady's not out doing ketamine.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is not doing ketamine. Those days of being a functional alcoholic like Joe Namath and them days are gone to being an NFL quarterback. Mm-hmm. I really believe that. I don't think as complex as the playbook and stuff is, and it's just not quarterbacks, it's a lot of players. Mm-hmm. If you party and shit, and I'm sure there's a lot of NFL guys that party, but you can't live that lifestyle. Football's a 12-month-a-year sport now,
right?
And be very good at it. There's some good athletes still out there, and I'm not kidding myself that don't do some partying, but I don't think the overall partying like it used to be is happening.
I saw another video, and it was really funny. Guy was talking to an NFL scout or head coach or something like that, and he was talking about a guy drafting a guy, and he said, this guy, he went out, and the reason we didn't draft him, he went out and partied.
Is this the wide receiver from Oklahoma State, Blackman kid that got out of that league because he was alcoholic?
I don't know who it was, but he said he went out and partied, and you know what he did the next day? And the guy's like, what, he shit the bed? He's like, no. He fucking caught 8 balls for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's fantastic, even staying out until 4 in the morning. But what he did was he took 8 of his teammates with him that couldn't say no and were not gifted athletes enough to overcome the night of partying, and they shit the bed. So that is the reason that we did not sign him or draft him. It's not because he couldn't.
Bad in a clubhouse.
He takes 8 guys with him, and then he plays great, but they play like shit. So we didn't want him in our clubhouse. So owners they pay attention to stuff like that.
Well, when the kid at Oklahoma State was there, and he was a first-round pick. His last name was Blackman. I can't remember his first name. Anyways, he played for Jacksonville. He was a good football player, really good football player, but he drank his way out of the league. One NFL team sent a scout to a bar in Stillwater, and he showed up at 11 o'clock in the morning and was doing drinks. And that's why they didn't draft him, because they knew he had a legitimate drinking problem.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that NFL guys don't party, because I'm sure they do still, a lot of them pretty hard. Yeah. But I don't think the overall guy that's very successful in the NFL and that's getting a second contract is a big partier anymore like they used to be.
Right.
And someone's going to say, oh, so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. And I'm sure there are
exceptions.
some. But the average guy has to show up and take care of his body and work, because the classic young guys coming in behind him are pretty close. But I don't think any of your big quarterback stars are big partiers like that. You know, Lamar Jackson, I don't think is a big partier. Kyler Murray's not a big partier. And those are 2 quarterbacks I think that are on the cusp of, I think they're very overrated. You know, but I don't think you're seeing the Joe Namath type guys and Ken Stablers and those guys that used to party and shit all the time like you used to.
But how much of the game was on Joe Namath's shoulders?
They won a Super Bowl because of him, probably.
Solely because of him and his arm?
I was too young. I don't know.
Or was
same
it
with Terry Bradshaw. He has a great football team. I mean, Jesus Christ, 7 guys are in the NFL Hall of Fame on defense, I think, on that team. But those guys party. It was a different era then. First of all, you didn't have iPhones.
Right.
People didn't always know what you were doing. You know, if JoJo saw you at the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning and he told everybody he knew, he told 30 people. Well, nowadays someone takes a picture of it and it's all over. Kind of like what's the dickhead Urban Meyer? Yeah. His problem he had, if it wasn't for iPhones, nobody would have known about all that stuff.
Okay, he played Johnny Unitas, right, in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Johnny Unitas went 11 for 24 for 110 yards and an INT. Joe Namath went 17 for 28 for 206. Yeah. No touchdowns, no interceptions, took 2 sacks.
Pedestrian stats compared to today.
Fuck.
That's a half or a quarter for some teams.
Yeah, that's awful.
But that's the football was running football then in defense.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Joe Namath had the benefit, and I don't know where I'm trying to find the rushing yards.
Well, he didn't run the ball much.
But he had the benefit of run right, run left. Right. Well, even
NFL was just different. There
6 for 17 for 71 yards. Oh no, that's passing. What the fuck? That's Johnny. Where's the rushing yards?
I don't know.
Tim. Oh, okay. Matt Snell, 30 rushing attempts, 121 yards, and a tud.
But do you even know who that is?
No idea.
That's what I'm saying. Joe Namath gets all the credit.
They won 16-7.
Yeah, because Joe Namath come out and predicted they were going to shock the world and win the game. They weren't supposed to.
So that is
hold on.
a
That was,
halftime score.
Is that a Super Bowl? That's that's not a Super Bowl, is it?
Played at the Orange Bowl, January 12th, 1969.
That was Super Bowl number 2 then, or 3?
3.
And that's Baltimore and the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Baltimore used to be an NFC team back then.
I guess.
I didn't know that.
Don't get me lying, but they won 16-7. That is a halftime score on a very shitty game.
Baltimore and the Jets, and Baltimore they moved to Indianapolis, which is an AFC team too. I guess one of those teams used to be an NFC team then. I guess I didn't know. It's interesting. And I'm betting it was Baltimore because I bet the Jets have always been AFC because the Giants have been NFC.
Baltimore. Well, because...
Do you see there's a push now to get a football team in Dallas now, an NFL team also?
Yes.
That's ridiculous. First, Jerry Jones is not going to let that happen.
Well, it was a part of the NFL.
What was?
The Baltimore Colts.
They were in the NFC then at one time.
And then... 1970, they switched to the American Football Conference.
Okay, that's what I did not know that. I just thought about that. Baltimore and the Jets are both AFC teams,
right? But
Seattle was an NFC team. I mean, an AFC team forever too. Seattle was an AFC team until about when Carolina came in the conference. I think,
yeah,
was when they switched over. You think the NFL expands anytime soon?
I hope not.
Why?
Jeff, I like the way it is. How are you going to expand? Each division has 4 teams.
Well, if they do it, they'll probably do like a 4-team expansion.
Oh, that's too much. This is not the XFL. It's too much.
They need
too much.
They need to add a couple teams. The reason
It's
why
too
they
much.
won't is because of money.
Thank God.
Because of greed.
Capitalism.
The owners don't want to have to split that pie up
I
anymore.
wouldn't want to either.
Well, I can see if you own a team, and the Denver Broncos have a new owner today. It's a white guy, so it's going to piss all the black people off. Not the black people. It's going to piss off the networks. They wanted to make it They want a black owner. I think they're going to try to push Dan Snyder out. Washington D.C. would be the place to have that happen.
Fuck yeah, get rid of him. He's terrible.
As a Redskin fan, I hope the hell they get rid of him. Anyways, I could care less. Got 2 more seasons of The Wire left. I'm going to cry. That's the best series I've ever seen.
Peaky Blinders.
What a series. Wow. Anyways, anything else new in the world?
No. Are we doing our own podcast or what are we doing?
No, probably not.
Not today.
Oh, we will sometime.
Okay, I'll save everything that I got. I got mind-blowing stats for you, Jeff.
Of what?
Well, save it for a podcast, Jeff.
You can't even just kind of give me a deal so I can look up the stats in case I want to argue them?
Well, it's not a stat.
Okay.
It's a historical event. I'll just say it. World War II, there was a Japanese soldier called Onada, I think he was.
We'll do this on our podcast then.
And they put him in the Philippines.
Yes, and he lived there forever and didn't realize the war was over. You just now found that out?
That's fascinating. Was murking people on the regular for 25 years. Him and his merry little band of soldiers. 4 people. Just fucking killing civilians. Farmer would be out walking his pig. They'd slit his throat, take his pig.
Yep.
25 years after the war,
Somebody
they
had to
lived.
come up and tell him, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, it was a fucking loser, too. It was a nobody. The Americans went looking for him. The Japanese went looking for him. The Philippines went looking for him. Nobody could find this guy. And then all of a sudden, this fucking stoner hippie dude from Japan that had nothing to do in life heard the story, went to this island.
How'd you crack your phone?
That's the screen protector. And his plan was just to wander the jungle hollering his name, and he found him in 4 days. And then when he went back to Japan, he got depressed because they had been westernized. Totally depressed him. Figured out they lost the war. The king was dead or some shit. And
The emperor.
The emperor was dead. They got rid of Japan's traditions. Everybody was wearing jeans and low-cut T-shirts. And he got fucking depressed. Moved to Brazil and died. 25 years he stayed out in fucking Philippine jungle. Just killed people. Because his commander told him,
don't give up.
Don't surrender.
There was also there's another story like that about a guy that was on an island by himself that lived there forever, and finally someone landed and had to go talk to him, explain to him he's probably depressed too.
They sent leaflets for like 10 years, dropping leaflets over the island. They would burn them. They thought it was false.
Just propaganda.
Thought the Americans were trying to drive them out of hiding.
All 4 of them.
All 4 of them. They just fucking lived and
what a shitty way to go, though.
Killed people.
You think about it, what a
letdown that was.
Can you imagine your whole life? I mean, that's you lived your whole life. There are people out there that's got some shitty lives. I know people, and I'm thinking, man, what a horrible fucking deck of cards they got given to them for life. But when you have a goal and you have something you're fighting for, or that you live your whole life for, and that doesn't ever happen, it's kind of like preppers that die before anything ever happens.
God damn.
Spent all my money and all my time building that tunnel underneath the house.
Should have vacationed more.
Yes, could have went to Hawaii.
But they did. I mean, he had a vision. He had a purpose.
Yeah.
And he was executing that purpose every single day by killing innocent people
and stealing their pigs
and burning their crops, because that's what he was supposed to do. But he had a purpose in life. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, the war's over and I'm going back to Japan. We lost.
And they stole my purpose.
And I've got no purpose anymore. And not only that, the purpose that I was fighting for was silly. But I mean, it wasn't to him, obviously, because he still thought the war was going on. But yeah, he got depressed afterwards. Went to Brazil, went to the jungle, and never saw him again.
That's crazy. All right, let's get off here. I got to go to work. I try to make some money. Yep. If anybody wants any hunts, I've got We have a open. I wasn't going to do opening day of dove hunt, but we do an opening day dove hunt. You come in on August 31st. You spend the night. Next morning, have breakfast and hunt on opening day. It's $200 a person. Need at least 6 people to book a room if you want that. I've got a couple of rooms open for that. I could do a corporate dove hunt during the week in September and October, late September, October. Dude, it's 20 people for 2 mornings, 2 afternoons, lodge and meals, $8,000 for 20 people. And then I've got some waterfowl dates still in November open. I've lost a couple of corporate groups because of all the stuff going on in the country. So I've got some spots open in November, December, and January. Give me a call at 940-658-3172 or check us out at goose@westex.net. God bless you and have a great day.
Go check out our sponsors. If you are in the market for a goose or duck hunt or dove hunt, coming up in a couple months, call us. Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, Bangtail Whiskey, Gundog Outdoors, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Dirty Duck, Coffee, Shin Gear Waders, Pacific Calls, Boss Shot Shells, Dive Bomb Industries, and the maker of the Stanfield Stool, Alpha Outdoor Specialties.